Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, it's not good enough? Like perfect is the only standard, but you're still left feeling behind? Perfectionism keeps us stuck. It robs us of peace, of our joy, and the freedom to just be. That's why I created Beauty of Imperfection, Good is Enough, a guided workbook to help you let go of the pressure, quiet your inner critic, and start celebrating progress over perfection. Inside, you'll find tools that remind you your worth has never depended on being perfect. It's time to embrace the beauty of imperfection because good really is enough. Let me remind you, you are always worthy. You already are. Get your copy of my workbook today. Emotionally unavailable. Okay, well, welcome. It's so exciting to have you here. I was reading your profile again, and in the best way, I have nowhere to start because I was like, well, shit, like it's all very cool, but also like it makes my brain ask me lots of questions at once. And so it's like, man, I don't even know where to start. Where
Well,
do we
we can start
start? I
we
just
can start anywhere.
I guess okay. Let me say the title of your book without messing it
Okay.
up. I'm gonna switch screens. This is I'm so excited about your book. I really am.
Yay!
Okay, 50 Fabulous and Fuckable. So
Mhm,
exciting. A powerful guide that redefines what it means to be a woman at midlife. Okay,
mhm,
so let me just tell you, well, let's start with you were a massage therapist.
mhm.
You were led there because of a car accident?
Yeah, yeah. I was hit by a
Okay, and is
semi.
that because you knew what benefit it brought or what?
No, no, not at all. And I did grow up in a household where it was like, walk on my back, rub my shoulders. I never thought of that as a career. I was going to be an accountant. I was going to make money. I wasn't going to be a massage therapist. Oh God, no.
Okay, so then how did you end up doing that?
Well, I was hit by a semi. I was teaching metaphysics at the time with a not-for-profit organization. I just moved from Des Moines, Iowa to Columbia, Missouri. Just bought a car I was madly passionate about. It was a little Eclipse sports car, absolutely
Oh,
great.
honey, not an
Oh, girl.
eclipse.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, and it was used,
Yes.
but I loved it. Loved it.
Oh,
And
Mitsubishi. Was it white?
no, it was green.
O
Just like the color I'm wearing. Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. No, but yeah, I ended up getting rear-ended. It was rainy, like, he was speeding. I was trying to, like, stay ahead of him. Bad just one bad thing after another, and,
Yeah,
so that actually introduced me to massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture as forms of treatment,
yeah.
and that just completely opened my mind, and I was very, very fortunate. I was able to walk away from the accident. When I went to go and, like, look at my car, they're like, "Oh my god, you're walking? Like, you're alive?" So, yeah, it was really bad, but I was super fortunate. And I was also studying metaphysics. I'm like, I can heal myself. And when I was like, oh, I need help. And that's when I got the help that I needed.
Yeah.
And when I went to direct the school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's actually when I got into massage. Because at that point in time, you could actually apprentice, which I love
Yeah,
apprenticeships.
I'm in
And I think they
Oklahoma,
need that. Oh, really? We're at?
right in the center. OKC. Well, I'm in Yukon, right outside of
Okay.
OKC. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I loved Tulsa. I was there for a while. I loved Tulsa. Worked at this little hippie metaphysical massage place that had been around
Oh,
for 30 years, and it was
fun.
right up the street. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really great. I loved it. I loved doing massage. For me, it was kind of like a dance because it's very like I was a stretchy, flowy kind of therapist. And it was something I could do while I was teaching and directing schools of metaphysics, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then ironically, I did that for 20 years. And ironically, my last accident, I was rear-ended by an 89-year-old lady at a stoplight who was going into assisted living the next week. Yes.
No.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better, honey. Oh, yes, yes. And it was a
No.
week before my first international trip for my 45th birthday. And I was like, I don't know if I can go or not. Like it was brutal. Like even though the damage to my car wasn't bad, the damage to me was horrendous. I had triple
Yeah.
whiplash, I had concussion. I ended up
Oh,
with rebulging discs in my neck, which they didn't find until months later because my
yeah.
doctors were borderline negligent. And so I wasn't sure I could go on the trip. And I'm so glad I made the decision to go because I was feeling better. And because I know my body, I've been in therapies, I knew what to look for and I scheduled treatments abroad depending on where I was at. And it was the best decision ever because traveling to Barcelona and to Italy was the best experience. Like it had a lot of ups and downs. Like it was not smooth sailing at all. I will tell you
Yeah.
that because I bootstrapped the whole thing, but it opened my eyes up to traveling and as traveling as a way of healing. So
Yeah.
for me, it was priceless. And it's so different to be doing something like you're madly passionate and in love with and being
Yeah.
in pain rather than being in bed and focusing only on the pain.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
really
I mean,
helped me to get
there's a
through
place
that.
for that too, but if you felt like
Mhm.
you could go, I think that's awesome. Where did you go again?
I went to Barcelona and then I flew over to Italy and I was in Bologna, Rome, Cinque Terre.
Wow.
I think there's a couple others. I've since been back to Italy a couple of times, so I've been there 3 times total, but I didn't think I was gonna be
Wow.
able to go again. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I can't afford to go now. I'm doing this like on a bootstrap." I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
going for 3 weeks." I was in New York, and then Barcelona and Italy, and I'm like, "If I'm gonna do it, I'm doing it."
Yeah,
And
dang.
and then last year, I was able to go back to Italy, for a month and a half, and I explored
How
the
fun.
southern yeah, I explored the Amalfi Coast, and then I went down to Lecce, which is in the southern part of Italy, and then I went over to the south of Spain for a month.
Wow, how
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Okay, so did you lose your parents before this trip or after?
Before,
Okay.
right before my 40th birthday, they were both separate, and they've been divorced for a long time. I wasn't close to either of them, but when you lose
Oh, I
people
know.
in an instant, it really hits you hard, and so there was no closure, and so I went into a very bad downward spiral and was drinking very heavily.
Yeah.
And I was drinking during the trip too, let me tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was not good. But yeah, it was a wake up call because when you do lose a lot of people very quickly, it makes you realize how little time we really have and that things
yeah,
can change in an instant. Like we are not guaranteed tomorrow. We sure as hell aren't guaranteed like 90, to live to 90 or 100, you know,
right.
and that has really made an impact on my life. That has made me realize that, you know what, I want to live my life and I don't want to be like, oh, I wish I would have done this.
Yeah.
I wanna be like, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done that."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
maybe I should have done something different, but that's the joy of being able to invent your life.
Yeah. Do you think before that you had not before you lost them, but before you've kind of, like, evolved to your current state, do you think that there was a time that you were like, "What's the point in, like, taking care of myself," or, like, thinking about the future?
There was a point in time after I lost them that I just didn't care. I did not care at all. I got up to my heaviest weight. I wasn't like, I mean, I was showering and going to work and taking care of myself, but like, I just did not care at all. And there were definitely times in my life that I was just like, oh, well, I'm not in a relationship, so my life is over. Boo hoo hoo. That was my 30s. And then in my 40s, I was like, I just didn't care. And, you do have those periods in your life, and we all suffer from mild depression from, here, during different parts of our life, because we're human. We
Yeah.
go through those emotions, we go through that stuff. And so, yeah, I actually look better and I'm healthier now in my 50s than I was in my 40s and my 30s.
Yeah. I can resonate with that because in my 20s, I looked rough as fuck with my 3 packs a day smoking and all the drinking and whatever. I have a curiosity question.
Mhm.
How does metaphysics inform the way you view all of it? Grief, life, a blueprint, any of that?
Well, the core of the metaphysics that I was teaching and I was taught was that it's the study of the mind. And so the inner reflects the outer, and our thoughts are manifest likeness. So whatever you're thinking does become reality. Whatever you're feeling does become reality. So we have the choice as to whether or not how we want our lives to be. So a lot of people now are calling it manifestation and quantum jumping, and those are like the hip new terms. And I was
Right, right.
teaching this like 20, 25 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's and I studied a lot of the esoteric works too. I studied healing at a distance and more of the inner levels and the chakras and a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm super
Yeah.
into all of it, but I just wondered because I think for me, well, believing in something helps, I think,
Hmm.
which doesn't necessarily have to apply to metaphysics, but I think for me, like, it started with astrology and I kinda, like, felt a blueprint where I was like, oh, because I had been raised really, like, religious, and then after deconstructing from that, I was kinda like, "I don't know, I don't really know," you know? Um,
Hmm.
but then when I was a friend just casually mentioned, he said, "Well, so and so says that astrology is more like destiny than just like,
Interesting.
personality traits, like, trying to
Hmm.
explain it as, like, no, like, those are your placements for a reason, and not just, like, you happen to have these characteristics because you have these placements or whatever. So I started looking, and I was like, "I don't know, some of that makes kinda, sense to me or whatever."
Right.
But then somewhere along a mental health crisis, I had a spiritual awakening where I really,
Hmm.
really just started to have an expanded consciousness, I'll say, where it was like just paradigm shift after paradigm shift really quickly. Actually, it actually scared the shit out of me because it was a lot really fast. And I was like, okay, well, we've reached psychosis. Excellent. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think all of that kind of informed so many things for me on the other side of depression, anxiety, whatever, where just I feel really solid that I'm not going through things for no reason,
Right.
or and then also just to tie into the part of metaphysics that you specifically mentioned, I do believe that, like, it's some subconscious belief that's creating a reality that I'm
Hmm.
existing in, and if I don't like it, I have to change the belief. There's lots of things like that. Not to say that I'm gonna make this point of clarity for anyone listening who could possibly misconstrue what I mean. Not that I was at all implying that we have lost people in our lives because of subconscious beliefs, but I can hold the grief of those losses a lot better,
Hmm.
feeling for myself as if it fit into some grander plan, you know? But
Hmm.
anyway, so I just wondered, like, how has, being metaphysical, if that has offered you peace in times of crisis.
It has. I also grew up very religious. I was the only one in my household that went to church. I grew up Southern Baptist and Pentecostal, so I know all about like deconstructing the dogma that, church offers. However, what it gave me was a really solid connection with, my higher source. And have a connection with your higher source, whether you label that God, the universe, guardian angels, whatever. It can be your doorknob. Like, I don't care what it is.
Right,
Whatever it is, we do need to know that there is something greater than us because we are not
mhm,
the end all be all in the universe.
right,
Whatever that is for you, I think having faith in something other than yourself is super important. And for me, that was huge. And obviously, getting sober, that plays a huge part because even though I was very religious and I had this amazing connection with my higher self, and, growing up, I lost that along the way.
yeah,
And
of
then when you
course,
reconnect with that, it makes a huge difference
yeah,
in your life. And, it's interesting because I'm actually in Mexico and I've been in Colombia. One of the things I really enjoy about being in other countries, especially, in Central America, is that they still have that faith, the faith in the family. They still have
yeah,
those bonds, which I think makes a huge difference in how they look at things and how their culture is. And I think that makes a huge difference. And we're human. We go up and down and
yeah,
sideways and round. Like, it is not a straight shot. We're not just like, boom, everything's perfect and great, and we're so aligned and everything's amazing. No. As
yeah,
even all the things I know, I still go through it. And you can level up very quickly like you did and have these spiritual awakenings. And sometimes we're just kind of stuck or we just kind of go round and round and round and round. So it's there's different layers to things. And that's kind of the
absolutely.
beauty of life. It's
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
and you get a chance to relearn the same lessons over and over and over in some deeper level too.
exactly, and until you get it. And interesting. So when I was teaching metaphysics, they actually called it the spiral effect, kind
Yeah,
of like going up and up. So you're going to have like the same experience, but at a different level because you're going upwards. And
yeah.
there's
Oh, I've never
there's a
heard that, that's cool.
really, yeah, no. So it's like you
Yeah.
might be like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here before, but it's at a
Yeah,
higher level. And you're like, okay.
yes.
And then like once you really get it, you move on to different lessons and learnings. And there's a saying, uh, life is painful, but it doesn't need to have suffering. Suffering is optional,
Yeah.
because life is hard. There's challenges or there's ups and downs, but how you deal with those and who you become through the process of it makes all the difference in the world. Because there
Oh,
are
that's
some
such a
people
good point.
that go through things that you've gone through and that I've gone through, and it breaks them and they never recover. They just become one of
Right.
those sad sack people that life has just run them over and they're not getting back up.
Yeah.
But it's like, even though you have those experiences and those ups and downs, and like, and even this year's kicked my ass. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know all these things. Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
why? I thought
Year of
this
the
was going to
snake,
be,
man. It's
I
getting us.
know.
It's getting
I thought
us.
I thought it was gonna be this amazing year. My number is 9. It's a 9 year. It's gonna be all about completion and wonderful. It's gonna be amazing. No, it's kicked my ass.
Yeah, have
And
you said a
so,
lot of shit? Yeah, I know I
oh
have.
girl, yeah. So I'm like, okay, can we just get through this last
I
month
know,
and
I'm
like
like,
get into
"Okay,
the new
horse is
year?
supposed to be real good. Let's go horse. Let's gallop away from this bullshit." Well, and
Exactly.
I was wondering too, because you were drinking so heavily,
Mhm.
is there anything that you can look back to now during that time where I'm not wording this very well, but, like,
It's okay.
where can you see from this vantage point your disconnection that the drinking caused between you and your body,
Oh yeah.
because you were numbing and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely self-medication because I could not deal with the grief and the loss.
Yeah.
Because growing up, we did not deal with emotions. It was a lot of
Yeah.
shouting and fighting and very dysfunctional. So there was not dealing with the emotion. So I didn't realize it, but throughout my life, I had used alcohol and drugs to numb the pain and to kind of get through things. Um, and I actually had an acupuncture friend that I worked with. She was like, "Oh, it's okay. Just have a drink, self-medicate." And so a drink to me is like 10 drinks a bottle,
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that, but yeah, I was so disconnected. I didn't even realize I had a problem, and it was really bad, and even people that knew me didn't realize how much I was drinking or what was really going on.
Yeah.
And, when I started got back into the self development, self awareness, and started doing seminars back in 2018, that's when I had some aha moments and I hit rock bottom. And I was like, okay, I've got to change because I am a person that honors my word. And I did not with my best friend. And I'm like, okay, this is not the person I want to be. This is not
Yeah.
how I want to show up in the world. And that was the point where I was like, okay, I need to change. And look, this is how non-self-aware I was. I went to a 12-step program and I did not know you needed to stop drinking.
Oh, shit.
Did not know that. Did not know that at all. So yeah, I show up at the meeting and I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? What do you mean it's abstinence? What do you mean? Like it's October 30th, we're having Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas and New Year's. Like, don't we get a whole
How are you
pass?
gonna get through Thanksgiving?
Girl, let me tell you. Oh my god, yeah, the last Thanksgiving I was drinking, it was a hot mess.
Oh, I
I will
bet.
just tell you that. Oh, girl, it was so bad. Yeah, it was so bad. So, I really appreciate being sober now. I appreciate everything I've gone through. Getting sober was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and
Yeah.
it's also the thing that I really, really appreciate. Because, unfortunately, it's so easy to take one glass of wine and make it a bottle or 2 bottles, especially if you're at home, like, you've had a hard day, you sit down in front of the TV and you're
Mhm.
watching your show and you're just kinda drinking and you don't realize it. It's really easy to slip into that. And it affects our health, our mental state, our weight, how we show up in the world. And not to mention your pocketbook. Like, I save so much money now, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I remember I kind of quit my heavy drinking after my last kid, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I went through a divorce, I went through some real divorce crazies, and there was a lot
Oh
of drinking
no.
involved then, to the point where I remember like it started with like drinking while I made dinner, and then just like
Mm-hmm.
earlier. And I remember I worked with a girl who had literally just gotten fired for coming to work drunk, and
Mm-hmm.
and I remember thinking, "This is how that happens," because
Mm-hmm.
I am now at a choice where I'm either gonna start early enough to be drinking during working hours, or, something's gotta
Uh-huh.
give. And so there was during that time, I was like, "Okay." I just was like, "Alright, we were at a crossroads," so I just told myself I couldn't drink during the week at all, and so I
Right.
didn't, but I was still drinking
Good.
every other weekend when I didn't have my boys. So that's kinda how it went until I had that 3rd kid with my 2nd husband, and then because I was older and I cannot do hangovers, thankfully, it was like that was kind of it for me. But
Yeah.
in looking back, like, I was frustrated with people who would be like, "We miss fun, Melissa," whatever. I'd be like, "Yeah, but you didn't
Mm-hmm.
like fun Melissa when she turned into overly emotional Melissa or aggressive Melissa. I can't control which one of those personalities is gonna come out after 7 shots of vodka." So, like,
Exactly.
I don't know, we're done. I have, like, 1 or 2, and then we're done. And then it was a real big, like, shocker to the people around me because 'cause I'm like, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't really like blacking out and then having to apologize for a bunch of stuff I don't even remember doing."
Exactly. I totally understand that. And nobody is more surprised than I am that I'm sober. It
Yeah.
was not on my game plan, it was not on my life plan, like, I didn't think that was gonna happen. I love drinking, but, the repercussions of it were so dramatic, like
Right.
you said, and I am so thankful I don't have to get up now and check and see, like, "Oh god, where did I park my car? Did I actually drive? What did I do?" Like, I'm
Yeah.
so glad I don't have those moments anymore, so it's allowed me to channel all that energy into something that I really wanna do.
Yeah.
Like traveling and writing my book and speaking and coaching. And so it's amazing. I have actually created the life that I want, when
Mhm.
I couldn't before.
Yes. Well, we just
So,
don't realize how much we're blocking ourselves, and sometimes
mhm,
intentionally, subconsciously, but still, like, we protect ourselves through self-sabotage so much. It's ridiculous.
exactly. Exactly. And sometimes, we're just not ready to really step into a higher version of ourselves of who we really are. There's a
Yeah.
part of us that doesn't want that. We don't want the responsibility. We don't want to have to put the work in. Like,
Mhm.
we're like, no, it's easier to stay where we're at. It's easier to stay comfortable. It's easier to stay in the familiar patterns that we're doing and repeating
Yeah.
rather than to try something new. Because if you try something new and you fail at it, that stops, and that has happened to me more
Yes.
times than I can count,
Yes.
but if you keep doing the same old thing, then people know you, they know what to expect, it's comfortable, you don't have to try. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, do you want the life that you have, or do you want to make the changes to create the life that you want?
Yeah, for sure. And how did you what was the turning point to become sober, and how did you do it?
It was after I had done the enlightened spiritual warrior seminar, and I came back from that. I'm like, oh, I mean, because we just got done walking on hot coals and doing all these like
Yes.
really extreme things to kind of push you out of your comfort zone, get you out of your conscious mind, like really dig deep. And the first thing I did is when I got back to my hotel room, was like, oh, I'm not going to drink. Like, I'm only going to drink like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing I did is I want to drink. And when I got back home, I realized that I wasn't stopping it, and I had a really bad blackout in public.
Mm,
Yeah, and realizing that I really could have hurt somebody doing that, I was like, "I can't do this anymore." And I reached out to somebody through, that seminar I just been to, who had been, through a 12-step program and had been successful. He's like, "You need to go." So I went the next day, and like I said, I didn't know I had to, like, stop drinking. So that was
you're
like,
like,
"Oh my
"So this
goodness."
is not about learning moderation is what you're telling
No,
me?"
I know, right? I thought it was. And I had tried everything on my own and it did not work. I
Yeah.
tried buying the small bottles and the airplane bottles and, oh, I'm only going to drink on the weekends, or I'm only going to, have one glass when I'm with friends. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. And there's this saying, uh, let's see, one drink, one drink is too many and 1,000 isn't enough when you're an alcoholic. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
first drink is what triggers it, and you literally cannot stop drinking. And
Right.
that is what happened to me. And some people call it an allergy, which is what they call it in the 12-step programs, because alcohol literally affects my body differently than most people. Most people can have a drink or two and they're done and they're fine and they're not thinking about the next drink or wanting to like grab a bottle on the way home or drink before work or, you know, take alcohol with you into movie theaters or on road trips, and, things like
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
it's like it does affect people differently. And I am part Cherokee Indian, and alcoholism is on both sides of my family.
Yeah.
And the women in my family did not drink. I was the only woman in my family that drank. And I'm like, oh, that's really great. Like, I can drink. This is fun. Like, I'm a fun person now. Now, I was a hot mess, because my mother and my sister, my grandmother, like, if they have more than one drink, like, they would fall asleep. That's how it affected them. So it's really interesting how alcohol can affect people differently, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Well, and I mean, we're all dopamine seeking somehow. Cause like that's not really my experience with alcohol anymore. I mean, that was me at one point, but not to like addict level, but like, I was abusing the shit out of it.
Hmm.
But that's me with sugar. That's me with nicotine. That's me with
Hmm.
caffeine. That's me with spending money. You know, like
Hmm.
there's always something that we're doing to try to accomplish something. I mean, for me, it really is, I think, just some sort of hit of whatever. But I always say, like, I'm kind of addicted to life because if one's better, 100's great. Like
Hmm.
I'm always, there's just never really an easy cutoff for anything. If it's, and actually, when I'm in the happiest mood is when like drugs and alcohol cross my mind because I'm like, oh, but you know what would really enhance this experience? Drugs or alcohol. Like, every time, and I think that was how I started to notice some of my, like, patterns, because 'cause I'm like, "Damn, like, there really isn't anything that could make this experience better," but yet, my brain is like, "I think we need drugs or alcohol right now. I really do. I think so." It happens all the time. It's so
Hmm.
bizarre to me.
Hmm. I used to be like that. Like, seriously, like if I'm coming over to the house, I'm bringing some wine. We might be doing some other things. That was me for a long time. And it took me hitting rock bottom for me to really change it. And I'm completely sober these days. Something I did try in Mexico that I was like, oh, I don't know. Do I want to do this? Do I not do this? Is this okay? Because I am sober. I actually have done peyote and ayahuasca.
How was
And it was
that?
amazing. Like, okay, the throwing up part, not so great. I will say that I hate throwing up. And I am not a nature person. So being outside at night around a campfire and sleeping in dirt basically is not really my thing. It's not, and not that I'm like, all high and mighty or anything. I'm just not a nature person. Some people are and they love that.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm not a nature person. Excuse- but yeah, so it's like the the spiritual awakenings I had because of doing that was amazing. And I even asked my Ayurvedic practitioner before I even entertain those things, is this what I want to do? Because I had friends in the States talking about it, and I was like, well, I'm down in Mexico, and it is part of their I wouldn't say it can be a religious experience. It's a ceremony. It's very sacred. It's not like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go do peyote and get fucked up. No, it is part of a spiritual awakening. And they do really take that very seriously here. And so when I had the opportunity, I was like, is this making me not be sober if I do this? Because it is a hallucinogenic. Ironically, they are using peyote and ayahuasca in parts of parts of the states and around the world as uh, addiction treatment.
Really? As
Yeah,
addiction treatment?
yeah, yeah, because it actually can help you break those cycles, and it's really
Wow.
amazing. So yeah, so
That's
they're actually
cool.
using it as a form of therapy. Hmm.
I had heard ketamine, I've heard mushrooms, I haven't heard the peyote and
Yeah.
ayahuasca. Wow,
Hmm.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised, I mean, really anything that you can do to access your subconscious beliefs to change them, like that's uh, although I have an 18-year-old and I annoyed him last night because he was like, I really wish you'd try shrooms. And I was like, I don't need to try shrooms. And he was like, Mom. And I'm like, well, I have a schizophrenic brother, so it's not wise of me to do hallucinogenics. And also, I was like, I think I'm reaching enlightenment without it. So, ooh, he was so annoyed at me.
Right. And microdosing shrooms is like a big thing now, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually tried those for the first time when I was in Palenque, which is an antique city. Yeah, they were selling them in the parking lot.
Shut the That's hilarious. How
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
like them?
It was interesting. It definitely was not a great time to do it by myself wandering around an antique city. But like it was a really the only time I did. I tried it after that. It was like, this isn't my thing. It's one thing if you're doing it for a spiritual reason, I think,
Yeah.
rather than just doing it to do it. Because that's not really me anymore. But it was pretty trippy. Yeah. And I had blue hair at the time, so it was kind of like wandering around. Yeah.
I could picture that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Because I don't wanna be schizophrenic, and I don't want a bad trip, so I'm like, "We'll just keep going down the course we're on." So
Exactly.
if you had to say, like, a couple of things maybe, 'cause I would list off a whole shit ton if you asked me this question, but, like, what do you feel like has really changed, like, in who you are now versus who you were before?
I'm more in touch with the real person that I am rather than trying to cover things up with drugs and alcohol and trying to project an image of being okay. And I have embraced the parts of myself that I didn't like before, the parts I was trying to hide, because I was a massage therapist for 20 years. I was into health and wellness, and then I was going into work hungover all the time. And I did
Yeah,
not want my clients to know that. I was like, oh my God, because I felt like such a hypocrite.
yeah,
And now here I am talking about these experiences on a podcast. So it's
yeah,
like, is it embracing all those parts of you, realizing that, everything is here for a reason and you've gone through all the things you've gone through for a reason, and to
mhm,
love those parts of you rather than shaming them, blaming them, feeling guilty about it, embracing those different parts of who you are and your body and the whole package and loving yourself makes such a
yeah,
freaking difference. And that has to come from you. It can't come from somebody else because so many people want to look outside of themselves for external validation, look to a
yeah,
partner like, oh, well, if my partner loves me, my partner gives me this, or I need somebody, or I need my soulmate. No, you don't. You need to find that for yourself. You need to connect with yourself. You need to connect with your inner self. And so, like, sure, meditation, journaling, walking, all those things can help you to reconnect. And for me, that was like so powerful, and I've done, like, a lot of inner work, spiritual work, shadow work. I've taken a lot of online classes, a lot of seminars. I've spent so much money doing all this, and it's like I still wanna grow and change and evolve,
yeah,
because I don't think I'm done yet, and I don't think we ever really are done. It's just, becoming more of who you truly are,
yeah.
rather than who other people think you should be.
And, you know, to that point of spiraling up, it's funny because
Mhm.
this happens pretty periodically, but, um where I recognize another fear unlocked, like of showing this part of myself to people
Mhm.
or realizing I'm still trying to protect myself or holding myself back or just like presenting a certain image. Like there's just fear all the time. I do the things anyway, but it's
Exactly.
like I wonder sometimes if it will ever go away, but it's like all the time where I'll even notice I'm more afraid of something than I used to be or whatever. But like I'm like, okay, but we still do it. But like when
Mhm.
I first started the show, I didn't talk about like astrology or
Mhm.
spirituality that much. I mean, that didn't last long because like I can only keep my mouth shut for about 5 minutes. So,
Right.
But, like, because I'm in Oklahoma and I knew, like, my listening base was gonna start with, like, the people I knew here, I was
Mhm.
terrified of offending people, and then like, slowly but surely, I was like, "Yeah, you just may wanna go. You just may wanna go because I'm gonna be really honest about who I am. So, like, you may
Exactly.
not like that because it's probably not the version of me I've presented to you this whole time you've known me." You know what I mean?
Well, the podcast is your creation, and so you can do with it whatever you want. And the more true you are to who you want to be on it and the message you want to present, then you're going to attract the people that are more in alignment with you. And let me tell you, Oklahoma is not that closed off because the metaphysical centers I was teaching in had been in Oklahoma for 20 years before that. So they've been there for over 40 years in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. So
Yeah,
it's not that closed off. But it's like as you vibrate higher and what you focus on and what you want to give your attention to, you will attract the people that want to hear about that. And yeah, not everybody will love you, and that's okay. They don't have to. But
yeah.
you'll attract your tribe, the people that love listening to the spiritual, the astrology, the tarot, whatever it is you want to do. You know, the self-help, all that stuff. And there's a saying for fear, it's false evidence appearing real. And so Jen Sincero is like, you need to run at your fear and it will disappear. So what you're doing is great. And it just kind of depends. Like, you know, the more you're in connection with your higher self, that does dissipate. But also, I will say, I don't know how old you are, but I'm in menopause now. And I will tell you the anxiety and stuff like that that spikes with menopause. It's like, oh my goodness. So yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun. I'm 45, so I'm not far from it.
Well, yeah, it affects us all differently. So part of that fear you may be experiencing may be perimenopause. It might be just a hormonal and fluctuation.
Yeah,
You know, it may not be a mental thing. It might be a hormonal imbalance. That might be something, to check into, especially if that's
yeah,
unusual and that's not something that you've done before. However, the more you change and grow, the more you're going to come up against that because you're bumping up against your comfort level, and it's kind
right.
of like when you play a video game and you're going from level 1 to level 2 to level 4, 5, 10. You have to go through all those challenges.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like expansion for sure because
Good.
these are areas I haven't been in before, you know?
hmm And that's good. You're growing and changing. It's wonderful. And it's great that you're setting that example for your kids.
Well, thank you.
You're
So when is
welcome.
this
Yeah.
book coming out?
The book is in pre launch right now on Amazon, and it is called 50 Fabulous and Fuckable. And
So cute. I
it
love that
thank
so much.
you. It is going to be out officially by the end of the year.
Oh,
And yeah,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get it out before Christmas, but I'm doing everything myself. I had a publisher that turned out to be a horrible mistake. And so I'm self-publishing. So I'm doing like
I've done
everything.
it. I know it's a bitch. Marketing is a bitch. All of it's a bitch.
Oh my goodness. It is definitely a learning experience and you feel like you're losing your mind. And I am not a techie person. However, this year I was like, I'm gonna learn AI and get better at tech. And I'm like, I did not realize what I was saying. Yeah, I did not know what I was setting myself up for. But it's
Yeah.
been really it's been a good learning experience. And I have just accepted the book is not going to be perfect. It's
Yeah.
been years in the making. It's not going to be perfect, but I am so ready for it to be out in the world. And the goal is for it to help other women because it's like if I can go through all the trauma, all the things that I've gone through in my life and come out on the other side of it, you can too. And that's really the essence of the book is that, there's always hope. And I
Yeah.
want to encourage women that are in midlife to travel, to do the things that scare them, to start living and creating their best life because that's what it's about. Like 50 is not the ending, it's just the beginning. It's just when things start
Yeah.
getting good,
Yeah.
and your life can dramatically change. And so I want to give them hope and inspiration, be like, yes, you can do this. So it's not going to be a perfect book, and if I wrote it now, it would be different. And I really having to like not go back through and rewrite chapters. Like, this is
Oh,
what it's supposed to
I
be.
so feel that.
This is
Yes.
what it's
Yes.
supposed to be, and you can only look at your own book for so long before like I'm just like I'm so done editing and looking at it.
Yes.
So, and being a Virgo, I have to be like, oh, it's not going to be perfect, but it will be done, and then I can always go through and revise it and add and create something different. But it's just the whole birthing experience of it. Like I am ready
Yes.
for like when you're 9 months pregnant, you're like, I'm ready, I'm
Just
done.
get it over with.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel like. And I'm just so
Yeah.
excited for it to be out in the world, for people to embrace it, because I feel like it was divinely inspired. I did not sit around being like, oh, I want to write a book about being 50. No. I was terrified of turning 50. I was like 46, 47. And I'm like, oh my God, what happens when you turn 50? Because I was around people that were like, oh, this hurts and that hurts. No, I'm turning
Yes.
50 and I'm so
Yes.
old. But I was like, wait a minute, like I feel really good. Like, what's gonna
That's so
happen by
cute.
50? So I was really kind of surprised that I had people around me that were being so negative about him. And in the States, it's like, oh, you're over the hill, you're washed up. If you have gray hair, you're an old hag. Like, whatever. I'm like, fuck all that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be empowered, inspired by it. And then I was like, I want to empower, inspire other women. And so the book and the title of the book just came to me. I did not sit around trying to think this up. I did not plan this. It all came to me. So I'm like, there was a reason for that. And there were many times in the last 4 years, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's get it out here,
Yes.
because if I don't want to do it, then I need to release it so somebody else can do it. But I can just see it all the way through. And no matter what happens with it, it changes me writing it and putting it out here and going through the process of being on
Yes.
podcasts and being like, yes, I want to help other women. I want to inspire you. I want to, coach women and have really great programs for them to go through, because
Mm-hmm.
I've transformed and changed my life. And I know I can help other women do that. And I want that for them, because you don't have to stay where you are. You can change and grow and evolve and become the best you, and like go out and do fun and exciting things. Like go take a pole dancing class, go take a dancing class, travel, like live your best life. That's really
Yes.
what it's about.
I agree 100% because joy will take you so far, in experiencing all of this.
Exactly.
So where
Exactly.
can we find you? Are you like active on socials or?
I am actually. I am most active on TikTok, believe it or not. Like I love TikTok.
Okay.
Um, you can find me at Transform Be Courageous on TikTok and Instagram. And then I
Okay.
have my media hub is beacons.ai/transform be courageous. And the book is on sale on Amazon. It's on pre-sale right now. But yeah, and I'm really excited about it. And this is like, reinventing myself at 53,
Yeah.
and
Which is
it's
what we
exciting.
should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. We should
Mm-hmm.
reinvent ourselves every year, Just
Exactly.
however it unfolds for each of us.
Exactly. And it's so funny because, on Facebook, it'll come up with like the memories, like pictures of memories and things.
Yeah.
It came up with one that was 10 years ago. So I was 43. I look better and healthier, and I weigh less now and in better shape than I was when I was 43.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So like you really can age backwards,
Yes,
and you
absolutely.
can.
Well, when you're happy and you're, not trying to escape everything, it shows
Exactly.
on the outside too.
Exactly, exactly. So I just want women to live their best life, to be empowered, to be inspired. And my bigger vision, the book is a door opener. My bigger vision is to create co-living spaces around the world for women to travel and heal and to
Ooh, I
support each
love
other and
that.
uplift each other, to create like sanctuaries where we can embrace the divine feminine and level up together,
Yeah.
and to feel safe traveling. So I'm actively pursuing grants and investors for that right now.
I love
So
that.
I know, right? So
Yeah,
who knows?
that sounds amazing. Well, I will make sure to include all of your links in the show notes, but
Okay, great.
I'm so excited to have met you. This was so much fun. I can't wait
Me
to
too.
see where you go and see this book out into the world. I just love the
Oh,
title so much, man.
I know, right? It stays with you. And no matter where I'm at in the world, and I tell people the title, doesn't matter their age, gender, whatever. Like, oh my God, I want to read that. You
Exactly,
know?
the title, it'll get you.
I
And
know,
I
right?
think it's the same way people feel about the name of my show. Like, people are always
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, that's hilarious." And
Exactly.
that's how I feel too.
Exactly.
How
Well,
funny.
thank you so much for having me on. It was been such a pleasure and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the support in my book and my work. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, I had such a good time. Okay, I'm gonna push stop if you'll hang out for 1 sec.
Mhm.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.